Why, hello there. I'm Big Alias. Did I mean? Did I mean to say that like a villain in a Batman movie? Yes, I did. I completely meant to. And listen, I'm just going to give you my lunch money now. We're going to do this now because I want to do today. We're going to talk about books. I want to talk about books in this video today. I did a previous video last night, and I mentioned Javier Bardem, and in doing so, I sort of in passing mentioned that my favorite book is No Country for Old Men by Cormac McCarthy, who unfortunately did recently pass this year, which was super sad for me because I don't know whether I would consider myself to be a fan or what. I do have a few of his books physically, and I've read a few not physically, and I have no idea why I said it like that. Digitally, I guess, would be the correct vernacular for the situation. I think he was just a brilliant writer, an absolutely tremendous writer. His ability to tell a story where the subtext and the theming of the story is honestly on the nose and completely ever present within the core narrative, and very present within the core narrative, but it also feels completely justified. It becomes very contextual, it becomes part of the story. I think was excellent, and I think some of the theming that he played around with was just very unique and absolutely fantastic, and that's what I want to talk about with regards to No Country for Old Men, and why I love the book so much. It's such an excellent book, and I remember reading it for the first time. I could not look away. I had to just keep turning. I did not want to finish that book. I didn't want it to end. It's just absolutely excellent, but it's the theming, it's the overall storytelling and what he was trying to get across in the book, which is, the notion of No Country for Old Men is that we assume that growing up, when we grow older, that the world is becoming more dangerous and we should be more afraid of what we encounter, and in actuality it's always been bad. It's always been dangerous, and just because you're older, you just assume that things are going to get worse. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they are. It's just a point of view. It's a perspective, and I just obviously also in the book, more so in the book than in the film, but in both he definitely explores notions of destiny and agency, and the fact that time will keep marching and things will always happen, and honestly, you can try to assume that you have agency and that you are affecting what happens next and the next step, but in actuality it's just going to keep marching, and what happens will always inevitably happen. And I find these themes to be very poignant, and I feel as though I relate to them a lot, and I do attach myself to them. And there are times where I live where I'll be walking along and I'll be ready to pounce. I'll be walking with my partner, and I'll just be ready to say, like, oh my god, look at those teens, they're being so annoying, and they're doing things, and I would present that in a way where this is new to me and these are new issues, but they're not. Because right before I say that, I remembered that what they're doing is just what I did and what we did when we were younger, or at least maybe not me, but people of my age, and that actually that hasn't changed, and it's not dangerous because I don't understand it. I just assume that I'm not going to understand it because I'm older and I'm not a part of it anymore. But I do, and I'm not afraid of it. And I shouldn't go into it assuming that I should be afraid and that I'm going to be afraid, because it's weird to me, and that's just because I'm disconnected from it. But they're doing what we did. They're feeling the same way that I felt when I was that age, and they're compartmentalizing in very similar ways to how people of my age did. And that hasn't changed. And I guess the methodology, you could say, has. And that obviously I do agree with what Cormac is putting across. But, you could argue that now we have different ways of creating that danger. We have guns, we have automatic weapons and stuff like that. And we didn't have that in the past. But I think there's a gradient, or rather two gradients, that move alongside one another, where we're better at protecting ourselves and we have more stringent rules, and the dome that we live under has become a lot more, sort of condensed. And I find it interesting to consider, just how cyclical things are. That, yes, okay, I have issues now, but those issues, societally, but those issues are largely similar, particularly when it comes to issues of safety and danger. I think these are things that, I'd imagine my grandfather thought about and complained about. My father did too, and I'll echo that within my issues. And okay, from what I've heard, my grandfather was very progressive, and so was my dad. But in a different world, it's interesting to think of them having societal issues that I wouldn't have. And that I don't have now, and them having new societal issues that didn't exist then that I also don't have now, but me continuing that cycle and continuing the line that we're heading in, and those multifaceted gradients, and finding other new issues to have. But those issues that they have now, they stem, their root is always in the past and the issues that they had then, with regards to things like transphobia. All of these new issues that we have now, they echo the issues of the past with things like the civil rights movement and Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King. All of these issues that people had then, they have their stems, their roots in the issues that we have now. But contextually, they're entirely different. And I wonder what issues I will have when I become the age of my grandfather before he passed. I wonder what I'll be thinking of, what I'll be afraid of when I'm older, when those paths split away from what they are now, but the roots are still the same. Will I take issue with how people identify themselves in the future? I don't know. And I think it's interesting to think about, the world is a dangerous place, and it's a confusing place, and one that you can't keep understanding. But I think it's important to always try your best. I hope some of that made sense. And I would definitely recommend No Country for Old Men and Cormac McCarthy's work. No Country for Old Men is a tremendous book. All the Pretty Horses. Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank now. But yeah, if I think of it, I'll pop it in the comments or the description or something like that. But definitely give his work a go. But please read No Country for Old Men. It's just a tremendous book, and I would always recommend it. But yeah, those are my thoughts on that. And I guess I'll see everyone later. The Crossing. The Crossing was the book that I was thinking of. I'm just listening back. And it was The Crossing. Right. No, I'm done. I'm done this time.